The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences only, so don't tell your parents! Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. And wait, Kyle, I thought we were getting people to cover for us this month.
Nope, that never happened.
Anyway, I'm JD, that's Kyle.
It's me.
And, yeah, I'm actually probably still on vacation when you're hearing this, but Kyle and I wanted to, wanted to do this show ahead of time because, Kyle, I don't know if you know this, but the Simpsons movie is 10 years old.
Well, you keep shoving that thought into my head, so I think I know by now.
I thought you were going to play along with this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, whoa, really? 10 years?
Yeah, so, so the Simpsons movie came out 10 years ago, and obviously we weren't doing this podcast 10 years ago, so I figured now is as good a time as any to finally talk about it.
We could have. We could have had Game Grump status by now.
Probably. So yeah, Kyle is an avid Simpsons fan. I am what most people would call a filthy casual. So I figured Kyle would be the best person to talk about this with.
Oh yeah.
He can enlighten me into all the references I don't get.
Yeah.
So Kyle, as an avid Simpsons aficionado, so let me preface this because I already know the answer. How did you feel about watching the movie when it first came out versus now?
Well, some backstory behind it.
Backstory.
This came out senior year of high school, and I was hyped as shit to see this movie, because I actually still watched the new episodes and still kind of liked it. And this was the time where everybody thought Family Guy was funnier than The Simpsons. I didn't like that.
It was a dark time.
Yeah. So I was hyped as shit to see it. I think I did the midnight viewing of it, too.
You nerd.
Yeah. I don't do that very often either, so
no.
you can tell how hyped I was. But anyways, I remember leaving the theater loving it. But not like, I've never been to the point where I've had to see a movie multiple times in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it now, it's fucking awful. I don't like the movie at all. But we'll get into that.
Yeah. I went and saw it when it came out with a bunch of my friends, and I've never been a big Simpsons fan. Like, if I watch The Simpsons, like, especially older stuff, like, I'll get enjoyment out of it. I sat down and watched, like, the entire first season a couple months ago. It was very funny. And, I got a few laughs out of it. And I've seen it probably once in between now and when it came out, and I sat down and rewatched it today, and yeah, it's pretty much exactly what I remember it being. It's like, there's some funny bits in there. I got a few laughs out of a few parts, but on the whole, it's just kind of like I don't know, it falls, for me, it falls into that category of like adapting a show into a movie, and it just feels like one really long episode.
Yeah, but I think that's the whole joke.
But that's like a dumb joke, though. Like, they even make a joke in the movie, it's like, to be continued immediately, and I'm like...
Well, no, I mean, like, they do the whole joke where they're like, oh, we're in a theater and we're paying to see something we see on TV for free?
Yeah, it's like the first joke of the movie.
Yeah. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah. So, Kyle, what specifically don't you like about this movie?
watching it now and knowing what I do about The Simpsons, I can see that the characters are different from what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And they call it umbrella term Flanderization because I guess he was the first one to go, where they took out any personality quirks and just was like, this is the overly religious guy. Or they just boiled down a character's personality into like one thing.
Yeah, they just become a one-note character.
So like with this movie, Homer is just almost a parody of himself. He's overly stupid and overly selfish, which doesn't seem like him. He's not really that selfish when you watch older stuff. But the whole reason this end of the world thing is happening is because of his selfishness.
Yeah.
And I don't really care for that.
Yeah, rewatching this, it kind of made it a little more apparent, but like, yeah, he's like really spiteful through a lot of the movie, and it seems really out of character.
And it's like ignorant spiteful, because he's like, just the first sequence almost of the movie, he dares Bart to naked skateboard to the city.
Where they show his wang doodle.
And then he's like, oh yeah, that was funny, I didn't bring any pants. Oh, a restaurant, I'm gonna eat.
Yeah.
And then leaves him outside, handcuffed.
Yeah, and like, usually, like, when him or like Peter Griffin fuck up, they have some kind of semblance of like remorse of like why they did it. But like, after the whole big thing where they fuck up and they're run out of town, Marge is all like wanting to know why he did it, and he literally just like, I don't know, I just don't think about stuff. It's like, that's not an excuse.
And then he had to go through like this gigantic spiritual journey to understand why he fucked up, and I think that's stupid too.
I know, it's like see, my biggest problem with this movie, like, the reason I think it feels like a really long episode is because it's basically the same beat of a typical episode of The Simpsons, just an hour and a half long, because it basically, you can boil this movie down to Homer does something stupid, ends up getting forgiven in the end.
Yeah.
And that's like that's the basic plot of most Family Guy episodes. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, he does something stupid, everyone gets mad at him, but in the end everything's okay. And everything's back to the way it was. So it's like, I don't know. It's like it seems like he supposedly learns a lesson, but you know he's going to go back to being the exact same person. The status quo is going to be reestablished by the next day.
But he had to be pushed kind of past a breaking point to understand why. And when you think about him as a character, as far as like earlier seasons go, that's where it's like he wouldn't have done that. But then again, we're judging this just on the movie itself and not really based on past seasons. But
right.
I don't know. Like,
no, it's like he has a child's level understanding of like why something is bad. like the excuses and like way he handles like how fucked up a situation is like what I'd expect out of like a grade schooler, not a grown adult.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
with this whole thing, I did like they started it with an Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. That was fun. But I don't know. The whole thing with the pig I thought was kind of dumb.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't really needed.
I want to get into that because there were a lot of subplots in this movie. A lot of subplots that are dumb or don't go anywhere. And the pig is one of the bigger offenders. Like, they almost sold the movie on the pig because he was in all the fucking trailers.
Well, he was like the fan favorite in a sense because people wouldn't shut the fuck up about him. And what got me about it was they kept calling him Spider Pig and his name's Plopper. They say it multiple times. but everybody still to this day refers to him as Spider Pig.
Yeah, and they even made a song about him in the movie.
Yes. I hate
And it was
that.
dumb.
There already is a Spider Pig. His name's Spider Ham.
He's Peter Porker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really didn't like any of the pig stuff. It just seemed like really random because they just wanted something to do. Because they're like, well, we need something for Homer to kickstart this whole thing. Okay, pig.
Pig
and it's
feces, isn't that hilarious?
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't like anything with the pig. I think it was so random and really unneeded. Like, I figured they could have had a way more creative way of getting to the plot point that they wanted to get to.
And wasn't he like only in the first half, and then like not apparent?
Yeah,
in
like
else?
pretty much after he dumps the pig silo, you don't see him again for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And okay, so the biggest offender for like needless subplot is the whole thing with Lisa and her Irish boyfriend. Like literally, it has no consequence to the movie, and I feel, not watching it again, I feel like it's only there because they didn't have anything else for her to do.
Yeah, basically.
Because it's like Marge gets her whole like questioning her marriage. Homer's the one getting run down by the town.
That's the
Bart's
thing too, though.
like having the whole thing with Flanders.
That's the thing too, though. How many times, at least up until that movie, I don't even remember what season was it, but how many times do you have to do a Marriage on the Rocks thing? Like, the fucking Flintstones did that. It's such a cliched, stupid subplot.
Well, dude, that's like going back to what I was saying earlier, is like, that's the basic plot of most of the episodes of that and Family Guy. It's just like, their marriage is always like 1 second from falling apart, but they managed to pull it out at the end.
Yeah.
And that kind of like, if I want to say one nice thing about this movie that I do like, is I do like the scene where where Marge is on the videotape talking about, her questioning her relationship and how she taped over their wedding video. I thought that scene was actually really well done. I think that whole speech she gives was actually really well done. So at least I can praise that much.
Well, that whole thing was a callback to older episodes, because that's quote unquote their song and stuff like that. The Birds. I don't know what that fucking song is called, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
That's referenced quite a bit throughout the series, and they kind of brought that up, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff in this movie that is just like, it's there just to like give a wink to the audience, like, remember this from the show, and it's like, yeah, this movie was made for the fans of The Simpsons. They know all of this shit. You don't need to like give a wink to the audience to show this one place or this one thing.
Look into the camera and wink.
Pretty much.
Shit.
Yeah.
No, there is a few things like that. That's fine, whatever. But I think I remember reading that stupid Bono kid was supposed to be Milhouse. And there was supposed to be like a budding relationship between them. I don't remember where I read that from or not, or even if it's true.
Yeah.
But it's in my mind, so it has to be true. But I think I read something where they decided to change it because they wanted a throwaway character, and there you go. But the thing that gets me too is they had we already talked about it earlier today, but the whole President Schwarzenegger thing is such a stupid fucking joke, and it's so lazy too, because I don't know if you guys know this, but Schwarzenegger was governor of California, where I live, and around that time, he was governor. So they made him president in the movie, but it's Rainier Wolfcastle.
Yeah, like, they don't try to, like, the character design's pretty close, and the voice is exactly the same.
It's not pretty close. It's exactly. I would have to look at it, but I remember it being exactly that.
which is kind of dumb because isn't he like he's just a parody on Schwarzenegger in the first place?
Yeah, I remember reading too that they wanted to get him in the movie, and he was just like, "Nah, I'm good." And they're just like, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah.
But yeah, let me see here. There's that, and then let's see. Rainier Wolf Castle.
I guess we're taking a break to look up this.
It is exactly his design.
That's funny.
That's sad. He just has different color hair. It's brown to
Jesus.
blonde.
God.
But that's what really bothers me. That is such a lazy fucking joke.
Yeah.
And then
Okay, go ahead.
oh, well, not only that, but his like second in command is fuck. I know that guy's name. It's gonna bother me. Albert Brooks.
Oh yeah.
Albert Brooks was a bad guy in the show too, and I think I remember hearing that they wanted to put him in there too, Hank Scorpio, and then that didn't pan out, so they made a new character for him. And it sounds, from what I remember, it sounds like this whole movie was kind of just a clusterfuck of ideas that didn't pan out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this movie is like took almost 20 years to make.
They were supposed to make Camp Krusty into the movie, which
Right.
might have been funny, but yeah.
Yeah. But cycling back a little bit, I did want to talk about like the jokes in this movie. And it's something I kind of noticed this time around. This movie relies heavily on repetition, thinking it like the more they repeat something in a row, the more funny it's going to be. Cuz like there's the ones that stood out to me was the one where Bart's handcuffed to the pole and Nelson is laughing at him. And like it just repeats that sound. Yeah, it repeats that sound like 3 times. It cuts to evening, he's still doing it, and then his mom comes over and starts doing the exact same thing. And I'm like, okay, like I can only listen to Nelson's laugh so many times in a row before it gets annoying. And then there's the part where Homer is sledding with the wolves, and he's just like yelling like mush, and it goes on for like a solid minute of him just like yelling, repeating phrases at it, and it's like I don't know how many times I can listen to Dan Castellaneta repeat a phrase over and over again.
I think they do.
And like I don't know why that's funny.
I think they do stuff like that to eat up time.
Oh no, yeah, like and that's the sad thing is like you're making like I get it. You're making a weekly cartoon. Sometimes you gotta you have to have filler, to eat up the episode length. But when you are sitting down to make a feature length movie, you shouldn't have to make filler for a movie.
Well, they were working on both at the same time.
Well, I mean, that's I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, if you made the conscious decision that you're gonna make a feature length movie, and that's like the only movie you're gonna be doing, I feel like you should like put some more thought into it. Like, make sure that every second of that movie counts. And there's so much time in this movie that just feels like it's like waiting for the next thing to happen. And like this movie feels like a series of things that just happen.
Yeah.
It's just one thing after one thing leads into the next thing. It's not like and it doesn't feel like it's a natural progression of things. It's just like this event happens. It so happens to slightly affect the next thing that happens. And it just feel like these self-contained little events.
And it's like, as far as plot goes too, it basically rips off a Stephen King novel too. So it's like,
oh yeah?
Well, yeah, Under the Dome.
I've never read that.
And they just did a whole TV series on it.
Huh. Weird.
Well, anyways, they basically ripped that off because they put the whole city under a dome.
Yeah. And I kind of felt like the whole environmental awareness plot was kind of like, oh, this is like a popular thing these days, and so we're just gonna make that we're gonna make that the thing.
I hated that so much. Thinking about it now, the thing I hate most about this movie is the whole epiphany thing with the Tress MacNeille.
Big boob Inuit lady.
Yeah, I just absolutely hate that entire thing. It was
yeah.
so annoying. Even watching it when I liked it, it was a very annoying sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just didn't like it. And then it's funny too, because sorry,
go ahead.
Watching the series afterwards, they bring up different stuff. I think they meet her in an episode because, of course, the pig's in it. The episode right after the movie, they're rebuilding the town, which I thought was kind of cool. Stupid throwback, but
weird. Yeah, because I was kind of curious about that, like how. I know there isn't a lot of canon with The Simpsons. It's pretty much self-contained episodes, but like, yeah, I was wondering if anything in the movie like affected the series.
Yeah, like I said, the episode right afterwards, the theme song, they were building the city again. I know they met the lady. The pig appears in like every other episode, which is kind of stupid. And then as far as continuity goes, they literally did a sequel to an episode from season 4. And it's like, I know it's not about the movie, but
right.
They're like, here's a sequel to an episode that's like almost 20 years old. They have HD TVs and cell phones. It's like, what the fuck? I just hate stuff like that.
Yeah. Does the little Irish boy ever show up again?
I don't remember it ever. I never remembered that.
And yeah, that's like another thing that kind of annoyed me, because like, not only does Lisa's whole subplot like not really go anywhere, I had a feeling like this kid's never gonna show up again, so all of this has no consequence on anything.
Yeah. And then I think Dr. Nick doesn't.
Yeah, Dr. Nick dies.
Yeah, he appears in other episodes.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't actually dead. They wouldn't kill Dr. Nick.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's the thing, too. Talking about the humor, this is around the time when Family Guy was popular, so they kind of amped up the jokes a little bit.
Yeah.
So, when they killed Dr. Nick off, I think they do show a bit of blood and stuff. And that's not...
I didn't see any, but...
Oh. I don't remember. But, they don't really do stuff like that outside of the Halloween ones, and then recently they have been, and it does feel like they're competing with that. So a lot of the humor in this movie is kind of out of place, trying to be a little more edgy, like the penis thing. That felt like kind of...
Well, I kind of felt like that. They were like, "Oh, we have a movie, so we can get away with that." And I mean, this movie feels like there's a lot of stuff where they feel like, they're doing stuff just because, like, oh, it's a movie, we can get away with other things now. Like Marge says "God damn" at one point, and I just felt like they were just like, okay, that's our one big swear word of the movie, even though it's even not that bad, but it's like bad by their standards. But yeah, and I feel like there's parts of the movie where they have a side character that's like a popular side character that they give like a short spotlight to just for the sake of like, they're in the movie. The one that really stood out to me was like, I think it's after they come back to the town, they walk past the comic book shop, and the comic book guy is like, I wasted my entire life collecting comics. It was worth it. And I'm like, all right. Okay.
It's funny because in one of the Treehouse of Horror episodes, he gets a nuke shot at him from France, I think.
And
fuck, I forget what it was. He was talking about like Aquaman. It's like, Aquaman, you can't marry her. She's from the land. You're from the sea. And then he sees this nuke, and he's like, oh, I wasted my life. And then in that one, he says like, life well spent.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Or like the part where the doctor, Apu, and Wiggum go to Mr. Burns to try to beg him to supply power to the town. I felt like that entire scene was just there to like, oh yeah, remember these characters? They're doing a thing. I mean, the scene doesn't go anywhere. It's just like a quick minute and a half long joke to fill up the movie.
Well, it's weird too because they showed a bunch of stuff in the trailer that never showed up in the movie.
Oh yeah.
And I had the DVD. Those weren't in deleted scenes either. So I'm wondering what the fuck happened.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot, like, and as much as this movie feels padded, I feel like there's even a lot more stuff that they decided to cut out.
They had a whole thing with the DMV and Patty and Selma, and I don't remember ever seeing that. That was in the trailer.
Because in the credits, they're like, okay, Dan Castellaneta plays all these characters, and such plays all these characters. And it shows Marge's voice actors, and it also shows her sisters. Like, I don't think Patty and Selma talked this entire movie. Like, I don't think you even see them.
No.
So it's like, there must be a leftover.
Julie Kravener, and her voice, her voice in the recent episodes, oof.
Yeah.
She's
tried doing that voice for 20 years.
Well, she's a smoker as well. I don't think she's going to be able to do it for that much longer.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised watching the credits that, like, Yeardley Smith only does Lisa's voice. Like, she's like the one voice actor that only does one voice.
Yeah.
Which was weird.
I don't remember her too much in anything else, but I know she's in that We're Back, a Dinosaur Story.
Oh,
and she's
weird.
literally Lisa Simpson.
That's funny.
Just a little girl.
Oh, well. I mean, if it works for you. There was one joke that I thought was kind of funny as Tom Hanks just randomly shows up.
Oh.
And it's actually Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it's just...
It's their celebrity cameo for the movie.
Yeah.
Well, they also killed Green Day at the beginning of the movie.
He sure did.
They just straight up kill him. And it was weird because that was around the time where Green Day was starting to become big again.
That was around American Idiot, which
I mean they play American Idiot on the organ after they die.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that was straight up high school. Everybody
it sure was.
Shut the fuck up about that.
Yeah. How did you feel about the whole plot with like Flanders and Bart? I'm kind of on the fence about it.
Ham-fisted.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to go back to older episodes and be like, well, see, because of course it's different.
Mm-hmm.
But you have episodes like Homer. There's a whole episode of Homer helping Bart build like a soapbox derby car. And the whole part of the episode is like trying to be a better father, know about his kid, and all this kind of stuff. And then you see this movie, and he's like such a shitty father, and they play it up like, "Hey, look, he's shitty. Look at him. He's such a shitty dad, and we're gonna make Bart hate him because he's a shitty dad." As if Bart's any better.
Yeah, I mean, like again, like this is like around the time that Family Guy was like starting to get into what we consider modern Family Guy, and I feel like you said, I think they're competing with them a little bit, because I almost feel like you could almost exchange Peter Griffin for Homer in this movie and you'd get the exact same results.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, he's stupid, he's impulsive, he's a little spiteful, he's kind of mean. It's like, yeah, you could switch him out and you wouldn't know the difference.
You just watched this movie. I haven't watched it in a little bit. I do know a lot about it. But doesn't he do something selfish for the pig instead of Bart? And then he's just like pissed off after that. Like he goes into his treehouse and he's like cradling the pig to sleep or something like that.
Well, he's like in Bart's room playing with the pig, like he's like brushing his hair and like just playing with him, and he like, I think he's basically after he gets the pig, he just kind of ignores him.
Yeah.
For the rest of the movie.
Because
it's like they were yeah.
Go on.
No, I was just saying, like, because it's like they're kind of bonding at the beginning of the movie, right before they would do the dare contest, and then like as soon as he gets the pig, he like kind of ignores him, and that's kind of when that's when Bart starts like navigating over towards Flanders town.
Yeah, and he's like, I made hot cocoa, isn't that cool?
Yeah, that obnoxiously absurd
drawn out hot cocoa thing.
Yeah. And see, that's another thing where it's like, it just keeps going, and I think that's how a lot of these jokes work. It's like they just keep going until they just burn it out until they move on to the next thing.
I mean, watch the episodes, and as the seasons go on, the couch gags get longer and longer because they don't have enough for the episode, so they do it to draw it out.
It's just to pad it out.
Oh. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, as far as like montages and shit goes, like that's another way to pad stuff. Were there any montages in the movie?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
I don't remember either.
I guess like one last thing that kind of bugs me about this, like, I really don't like plots in cartoons where it's like the family goes to this place, and in this case it's like the Simpsons are going to Alaska, and you could literally just do that for any episode. Like, there's probably plenty of episodes that are like that where it's like the Simpsons go to blank.
It just feels
and that's
out
the
of
plot.
place. To put them
It
there
does.
feels out of place. You know it exists in their world, but having them in that area just feels uncanny. It's really weird. And then it's in their style, but then it's like also super realistic too, and I don't care for that either.
Yeah. And like even the whole how they get there is such a like, okay, we have this event, but it'll be relevant later. Where like they go to the random part where they go to the carnival to get the truck by Homer doing the
motorcycle.
The motorcycle thing, and the only reason they do that is because they want to have Homer do the motorcycle thing at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, the scene's gonna seem random now, but it'll pay off later. And I'm like, I guess, I don't know, but I don't know. Like, I feel like we're being really critical on it. I didn't hate the movie. I'm just like, yeah, there's a few funny jokes in there, but like on the whole, it just seems like it was kind of lazy. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense and feels like it's drawn out.
There's a few movies that I've seen a couple times, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't have to watch this for the rest of my life. That's one.
Yeah.
In there. I don't have to watch it ever again.
Yeah, rewatching it again today, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's probably the last time I need to watch this movie. Like, I'm not even a big Simpsons fan, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to watch this again.
They had the whole scene where they're like, the mob comes, and they're like, here's Homer, he's showing the middle finger, we're being edgy.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, we've got a movie now, so we can get away with more stuff than we can on TV.
It's humor like that makes it feel out of place, because they've never done stuff like that before.
Yeah.
To me, it feels edgy, even though it's fucking clean cut.
It's edgy for the sake of trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess, yeah. As a not a huge Simpsons fans for me, I'm kind of on the movie. You're an avid Simpsons fan, and you're pretty just not okay with it. So
I loved it when it came out.
At the time,
yeah.
we all loved the first Transformers movie when that came out.
We've all done stupid things, but
retrospect is a bitch. So I guess I'd be interested to hear what anyone else who's seen the movie thinks about it, like what they thought about it when it came out versus if they think it holds up. So tell us about it in the comments. We'd love to hear that.
I think that's a problem too, is a lot of people with cartoons and stuff, they want more, quantity more over quality. So like, when a show's about to get canceled or something, people are like, oh shit, no, please don't cancel this, ever. We need to keep it going on.
Right.
But when it keeps going on, it's awful. It's the worst, but they just want that, they want that episode number to keep going up. It's the same with SpongeBob, it's the same with Family Guy, everything.
Yeah.
If any of those were in danger of getting canceled, people would freak the fuck out about it.
Right.
But
And it's just, I don't know. It's like the longer you go on, it's like you can only mine characters for so much, and it's like they're at the point where it's like, I think you've done everything. It's like, what new is there to do? And like this movie feels like a retread on just like a lot of cliche plot points.
Yeah. I just remember a couple years back, I was seeing like a Simpsons news update almost every week, every month. And they're like, oh, they're going to Antarctica. In the next episode, they're going to be on all 7 continents now. And stuff like that. And it's just like, okay.
Jesus.
Give it a rest now. I like it more as a cultural thing. That's cool, but it's time to stop.
Yeah. Like when the movie came out, like I remember it was a huge deal. Like they just advertised everywhere. Like they had like this huge thing with Burger King too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was like a huge cult because it's like The Simpsons. It was like it was a huge cultural staple by that point. And the fact they were finally coming out with a movie after talking about it for so many years was a huge deal.
Well,
but I think
let me put some perspective into how huge this was.
Okay.
So around that time, where the movie's like, oh yeah, it's coming out this date, I was out in France at the time.
Oh.
And we've gone to the movie theater to see, my brother wanted to see Grindhouse. You remember that?
Yeah.
They had, like, promotions and stuff for Les Simpsons. And, they had fast food places. I think you've seen it. I have French Simpsons cups. It's like, what the fuck?
I think so.
But, yeah, they're like a global phenomenon. Not many people kind of realize that, but it is a huge deal, and that movie was really big.
Yeah.
For other countries to, like, doing promotional stuff like that.
Yeah, and, like, for as big as it was when it came out, I'm actually kind of surprised Fox didn't immediately say, all right, couple years from now, sequel.
Well,
but
I think
it hasn't happened yet, and I kind of hope it doesn't.
Yeah, I think the reason why that didn't happen was it was a huge strain on them, and they were saying that
sure.
they almost went for one or the other at the time. It was either the show or the movie. So
which honestly, if it would have meant they would have put more time into it and a little more thought into everything it was, I would have been fine if they just took the year off and like, all right, we're just skipping a season, or we're just gonna stop and pick up next year after we get the movie, because it's like, yeah.
It does. It makes me wonder if Camp Krusty came out in like 1994, and that meant the end of it. I want to see that timeline.
Yeah, there's an alternate timeline where all these movies got made, but who knows? What could have been, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were pretty thorough on that. What do you think?
Oh yeah. So in the comments, let us know what you think of the Simpsons movie. Does it hold up for you?
Dude, I think I still got my movie stuff from it.
Yeah, I do. I've been collecting movie tickets since like 2003, and I'm pretty sure I've got my ticket from in my book somewhere. So
they've never faded on you? I know a lot of mine have like disappeared almost.
No, I keep mine in like baseball card sleeves.
Okay.
Like in a binder or something, so they're like closed off from light and stuff, so they don't really fade.
Okay, that works.
Most of them are pretty good, but yeah. So yeah, let us know what you thought about it, and yeah. So I'm gonna go back to being on vacation, Kyle.
Oh, have fun in Japan. Go eat some ramen for me.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll bring you back something nice.
Bring me back some porno.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you later, guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can catch a new episode every week. Also be sure to follow us on our Facebook and Twitter so you can keep up with the show. Links are in the description. We'll see you next week.